Good evening, ladies. So I'm coming to you live at just at dinner time, right? Just to disturb everybody. So maybe you're watching this on the replay. And welcome to my channel. It's Moms Who Win, support and encouragement for moms and caretakers of special needs children and adults. So today I want to talk to you about something that's had a great impact on my life, and that is gluten, or should I say the lack of gluten in my daughter's life. So I'm gonna try to keep it short, but on this video I want to give you a little bit about her background. I'm looking at my notes. Why I took her off gluten, what is gluten, and what has changed as a result of taking her off gluten. So first things first, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, please like the video. So subscribe. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel so I can get more content out for moms like myself. So first thing is, my daughter is 26 years old and she has special needs. Her diagnosis, first disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. This is just my experience, and it's just, a recap of what has happened for us. But yeah, I'm just not medical advice, so just don't take it as such. So first thing is, so my daughter is 26 years old. She has special needs. Her diagnoses are autism, she's developmentally delayed, and she also has epilepsy. Now, her seizures are currently pretty much under control. I mean, she used to have, up until like 5 years ago, she would have grand mal seizures like every day. And so now we don't see, she may have a couple small seizures a month. But she does have an epilepsy diagnosis, and she takes medication for it. Developmental delay, if you're not familiar with that, what that means is that although she's 26, developmentally and cognitively, she's more like a 4-year-old, and actually now probably older, as I tell you what's been going on with her. And then autism, as a lot of people know, usually is associated with lack of speech, not able to pick up on social cues. So her autism shows differently, but that is one of her diagnoses. So I decided to take her off of gluten. Just to back up. When she was probably 12 years old, I took her off of gluten. And so mind you, we're talking 14 years ago. There was not nearly what's available now in terms of gluten-free options. And she is a good eater. She's only 99 pounds, but she eats. And she was hungry. And I didn't really have a lot of options for her. So she's really a carb-heavy eater. And so with the gluten-free options that were available then, just not a lot of carbs available. She was hungry. She was like, where is the food? I was like, you know what? Later for the gluten-free. So at that time, I had heard there were families that had children with epilepsy, and they were experiencing seizures coming under control as a result of going gluten-free. So, obviously I tried 9 million things, and that was one of them. But I was just like, it's just not worth the fight. So I just, 86'd it. So we never tried it again after that. And so what made me decide to go back to it was I was watching, there's someone I follow on Instagram, and she is a young wife. I don't even think she's 30. Her husband had a traumatic brain injury as a result of a car accident. So she has dedicated her life currently to taking care of him. So she hired this doctor who is, I guess he sees him. I don't think he actually goes there, but he sees him virtually. He sees a lot of patients virtually. And she had a lot of great results as a result of going to this doctor. And so once I was like, well, who is this doctor? So it just, and she was seeing a lot of good results. So once I started looking into, some of the progress he was making with a lot of patients, then I was like, maybe he can help my daughter, because he was helped doing a lot of work with patients with autism. So that's why I looked into him. I started doing some research background on him. So one thing I found out was that he immediately takes his patients off of gluten and dairy. And I knew I wanted to work with him. We had a consultation. It was right before COVID. We had a consultation, and because he gets so many requests, he has to approve you to work with him. So we had our consultation. He did actually decide that he would work with my daughter, but because of COVID, now we're like back revisiting it now. But I knew he was going to take her off of gluten. So I said, okay, fine. When everything shut down, I said, now is the perfect time to take her off because I can control it. Because she typically before COVID was going to workshop every day from like 9 to 5. And I had to pack her lunch and her snacks and all of that. And she's an eater. And I'm like, how am I going to pack her gluten-free stuff? There's not a lot of gluten-free meals because I would send her like, the microwavable meals. There's not a lot of options for that. I didn't really know any of that. So I said once I was going to be in control of all her food every day, then I said, okay, I'm going to take her off of gluten now while we're at home and I can do it. Because I know it's coming, so I need to kind of prepare myself and just go ahead and take her off. So that's what I did. Did my little research, went to the store, found the things that were gluten-free. And usually like the things that if I'm going to cook, it's going to be rice or potatoes that she can have that would be like her carb or her starch for the meal that is gluten-free. So, kind of just planning her meals around that. So here I am, COVID, cooking for everybody. Her gluten-free. My son is picky. My daughter is home from college. It's crazy. So as a result now, I'm like, I almost hate cooking now. I cook so much when we were in quarantine. It's crazy. So that's what I did. I took her off of gluten. And so let me tell you, what is gluten? If for some of you that don't know. Gluten is, I'm going to look at the definition. It is a general name for proteins found in wheat, wheat berries, durum, semolina, spelt, farino, gram, kamut, barley, rye. And it's across rye and barley. Gluten helps food maintain its shape. So that's why gluten is in almost everything. It's in pancakes, it's in bread, it's in crackers, it's in cereal. So all the stuff that we love that's good. I keep saying when I grow up I'm gonna stop eating gluten, but right now I'm still eating it. So all the like snack foods and junk foods, cookies and cakes and pie, all of that has gluten. So it's like almost everything has gluten in it. So I like to say, if it doesn't come directly from an animal or off a tree or a plant, it probably has gluten in it. So that's my way when she's with someone else to say, did it come from an animal and doesn't have anything added to it? Because once you have meat and you add gravy, then now you just put gluten in it. If you got meatballs and you put breadcrumbs in it, now you just added gluten to it. So it's just straight meat, a chicken, a pork chop, a burger, we're good. A burger with no bun. Any vegetables, any fruit, any of that is good. And a lot of some other things, but that's like an easy way to kind of manage, so that you'll know she's not getting gluten. Because now when she gets gluten, we know it. She goes back to the old. So let me tell you about some of the things that has changed. So my daughter, and when I upload this on YouTube, I'm going to insert some videos so you can kind of get a better idea of like some of her past and then some of her current. So one of the things that was really a huge thing for us was she used to make this noise all day long, every day. And it's like a kind. And if she wasn't doing that noise, she was doing something else. So it was like a constant noise that she used to make all the time. So as a result, now I tune out a lot because I had to tune that out for years and years and years. So that was one of the things that she used to do. That now, when I took off gluten, she's no longer doing that. Sleeping, you pretty much always had trouble with her sleeping. Now she's like 8 o'clock. Good night, night, bedtime. Like, so she's like ready to go to bed. I mean, like I put her in the bed. She's like, please cut the light off and exit. So a lot of times she'll be like, night. No, she'll be like, I'll say good night. She'll say, no, she'll say, good night, love you too. Like, I don't even get a chance to say love you. So she's just like, would you beat it? So, sleeping very well, where she, it was like always a challenge all her life, getting her to go to bed and stay asleep or whatever. So, and a lot of times it was her seizures that kind of kept her up. So all of that. So she's sleeping now, like wanting to go to bed, like, especially now, like, I never, probably her whole entire life, put her in the bed while it was still light out. Like when it's 8 and it's still light, she is like, good night. And if we're not approaching bed, she'll say it, like night night, bedtime. She'll say it. And hey, Auntie Tammy. So that was one of the things. So talking. So she's been considered nonverbal because she's not she doesn't converse. But now she says so much. Like, she's in my phone conversation. She's in our conversations. She'll say what she wants now. She never really did a lot of that. Everything she said, it makes sense. She'll see something outside and say something about it. Like, she never would, say as much as she said. Like, she's like, I was on the phone with somebody one day and I was like, something BS. And she said the word. I was talking to somebody, I said vacation. She was like, vacation. She says a lot and understands so much more. It is just like amazing. We're always every day like, what did she say? Or what is she doing? Or did she? So now we have to spell things. If we don't want her to get something, we'll spell it. Because if you say it, she's heading right to it. She's going to do it. So we have to say lock. They'll be like lock, the DOOR, whatever, or LOCK. You can't say anything. So a lot of times we spell everything because she understands so much more. She never to that degree, never was like understanding, listening and chiming in or saying things that really made sense. She would say words here and there, but now she talks so much, like in all of our conversations on the phone. I pick up the hello, she's hello, bye, see you later, have a good weekend, whatever. So she says so much. So that's another thing. She puts on her shoes now. Well, was mostly her boots. We're working on the shoes. She never would do that. So her boots would be Ugg boots when it was cold. We'll put her socks on. Never would do that. We went to therapy for months and months and months when she was a lot younger, trying to get her to take the fine motor skills to put her socks on. She will actually put her socks on now. I'll give her sock. She will put it on. Her boot she never did anything like that. She'll get things, like simple things if it's nearby, and I say, give me that. And she'll get it, pick it up, and she'll give it to you. Never would do things like that. One of the major things is she will watch cartoons now. She's 26 years old. I never had the luxury of putting her in front of a TV to watch cartoons. Never. I never had, people could put their kids in front of a screen and go do. Never. She never would pay attention to a cartoon. Never would look at none of that. Now she actually sits down and watches cartoons and says some of the things that's going on. She never would differentiate. They have this thing called PECS in autism. It's a communication system, and you take the picture and put it where you want it, because a lot of children with autism don't use words. She would never even look at the thing, the PECS, she never would differentiate any of that. And now she'll look at pictures. She knows pictures. She'll say who the people are. So now she'll soon be getting an iPad to communicate, because and they're going to work with her in therapy to do that, because now she'll actually differentiate and look at what and can say, like, and be able to put words together. So that's exciting. So for us, so I took her for gluten. I don't give her a lot of dairy. I know that's something I'm going to have to eliminate completely. I don't give her dairy, but dairy is in so many things. Like, I don't give her milk. I don't give her cheese. I don't give her, I give her almond milk, and I give her cheese substitute. Sour cream, I usually will give her because it's a Chipotle and she likes that. But I don't give her a lot of dairy because I know he's going to totally eliminate that from her diet. And I think that's going to take her up another notch in terms of her cognitive abilities and everything. So that is what happened for us. So it's been almost a miracle. Like, people that know her and knew her, and they are like, she will sit down like she never would. She was all over the place. Never would sit down and do anything. So it's a new day. So for us, eliminating gluten was just almost miraculous. It's something to look into if you think it might benefit your child or adult. And even her neurologist, doctors don't get into that. Like, they're gonna need scientific evidence, how many studies have been done, da da da. So even her neurologist is like, oh my gosh, well, what are you doing? I mean, she's all amazed. Because she doesn't know anything about that. I mean, she may or may not. She act like she never heard that was. She said she had heard that, but I guess maybe none of her patients have had such a change. But it's been miraculous for us. So that's my 2 cents on going gluten free. I am going to do a video on some of the things that I feed her and maybe some tricks and what do they call those things when you hacks for the gluten, because the gluten-free things are expensive, like gluten-free chicken nuggets, gluten-free pizza stuff. So a lot of the stuff that's frozen is crazy expensive. So I will probably do some hacks on some of the things that you can get from the store that aren't labeled gluten-free, but maybe that are convenient, or some of the things that I do. I will do a video on that also. But that's it. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. If you know someone who can benefit from this, share it on your particular channel or your social media, and hopefully somebody else can benefit from it, because it's been great for us. It's difficult because I have to pack her food every place she goes, which is not so bad right now because she doesn't go that many places, but is the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages, I guess is what I'm saying. So thanks for watching. Again, thanks for coming to Moms Who Win. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to grow it and reach more moms. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Have a great evening.